More trouble in the Democratic Party. Uh, they they just make me laugh. There's just so much going on with them. It's particularly in Texas. The Senate race there is really interesting because the losing side is really haven't met. Just a lot going on, a lot of drama. With Tallarico and Jasmine Crockett and how she said all these things about how they were being racist and things of that nature and all that. And they've been trying to pushing her to the side, trying to put him in the forefront of everything. And there was drama with the Tonight Show and all that. Them shows that don't nobody watch no more anyway. But I digress. But what I like about this is they've been doing polls. Now, sometimes Tyler Rico's winning, but a lot of the polls are now saying Jasmine Crockett is leading. She's ahead of Tallarico, which is funny because the Democrats don't want her to be the front runner for the Texas Senate. But in the end, neither one of them are going to win. Well, I won't say that. It will be surprising if they won. I don't think it's necessarily that they can't win. I just don't think what they are selling is what the Texas population actually wants. But that's interesting with the Democrats. All those things she said about Latinos and how they have a slave mentality if they vote for Trump. And just saying just off the wall stuff, crazy stuff. And that it don't matter what she says, she's not going to stop saying what she's saying. Uh, this is a Jasmine Crockett thing. I remember when she was talking about someone had done some dealings with Epstein, and come to find out it wasn't Jeffrey Epstein, it was Dr. Epstein, which was a different Epstein. So the whole thing was the assumption that it was with the one that passed away, but it wasn't actually the same person. And then she acted like, well, I didn't know that. How was I supposed to know that? I only read it 20 minutes before. That's kind of your job to know that before you start making an announcement and saying you know everything. Is double checking and knowing that your sources are reliable. But clearly, you don't have to know your sources are reliable. You can just say, well, I didn't have enough time, and that seems to be a good enough excuse in that party. But I don't think it is necessarily because the Democrats don't really want her to be in the Senate. She has called them racist, but I don't think they really think anything is racist, to be honest. I think that is something they use when they think it benefits them politically. We all know this. But she's ahead of Tallarico in spite of all the efforts of the Democratic Party. It looks like she may be the one running in the first place. Is that poetic justice? What would you call that? It's entertaining, is what I call it. Because Democrats don't have any real leadership going on. Just a lot of people undercutting each other, and it's all spread. Their leadership is kind of like non-existent, and everybody just kind of doing things and just running with it. And they have these general assumptions that they should all agree on stuff. The problem is they keep changing the things that they supposed to all be agreeing on. And it seems like now nobody really knows what they agree on anymore. I mean, especially after the State of the Union address, which they're trying to make a clown show, which is only making Trump look like a legitimate president who was actually, if you listen to the speech, trying to see if there was a middle ground anywhere. And people looked at that as a gotcha moment. I don't think those questions were gotcha questions. They were simple questions that everybody should agree on because everybody about 10, 12 years ago in politics agreed on these things. So when Trump says it crazy, I don't think that was a game. I just think, really? That's the hill y'all going to pick to die on? That's what I think anyway. But it's going to be entertaining this year. Election's going to be entertaining. A lot of crazy Democratic stuff. We'll see how well they do. I'm not going to rule out that they will get gains. They may very well get gains. That's typically what happens in the midterms. We'll just have to see.